Hey everyone, Stephanie here with creatingwithin.com, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about self-love, and I wanted to go into a couple of the steps that I feel are important in the journey of self-love. When you can own personal responsibility for everything in your life, then you can change it, because when we blame the outside world for our misfortune and for the way that we feel and for the way that we think or for the things that we're able to do or not do, then what you're doing is that you're a victim and the problem is outside of you. Therefore, if it's outside of you, you have no control of it and you can't change it. But reality is that everything manifests from the inward outward, because your reality is solely created by you, good or bad. And so being able to then own personal responsibility allows you to start gaining a bigger perspective and start seeing the role that you and other people really play in your experience. And then you're able to start changing the things that you don't like or the experiences you don't like. But first you have to be able to own it to change it. So which is why personal responsibility is huge. And also when you start really owning personal responsibilities for the things that happen in your life, it allows you to start getting a bigger awareness, because now you have to start looking at things and really analyzing them more, which gives you a more acute awareness into the situation, and you're able to now start really getting control of your focus, because it forces you to start seeing situations and things from different perspectives when you have to own personal responsibility, because now you have to see, okay, what part did I play in this? Because reality is that there's no victims, and even when somebody does something to you, you played an active role in it somehow. There's a pattern. There is a reason for the situation having occurred and transpired in your reality. So when you really start having to dig and you really have to start looking for where can you own responsibility and what can you learn from this, then you're also practicing on how to focus, on how to use the focus of your mind, how to look at situations differently and from different perspectives and different angles, and it allows you to now have a broader understanding not only of yourself but of other people and then the world at large. If you feel powerless, start owning personal responsibility for everything that's happening in your life and start doing a little digging. Start really becoming aware and seeing, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Because every situation that transpires in our lives is there to teach us something. There is a message. And when you can grasp the message, the messenger will leave. The only reason that we continue to encounter certain situations in our lives is because we're not getting the message that the messenger is bringing us. And sometimes when we're too busy blaming the outside world or feeling victims to life and to others, well, then we're not able to have the awareness to grasp the message and the lesson there for us. So personal responsibility is huge. Okay, now that I've harped on that a little bit, the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is discovering your fears and really becoming familiar with your fears and bringing light into them and going into those dark places within yourself and shedding light, because the only way to continue to ascend and to grow within yourself and to get to that next level of higher consciousness within yourself is to start adding light to all those dark spots within ourselves and those things that we don't want to look at. And many of us have fears, and they can be, anything from a thought pattern that we have to something as a fear of heights to fear of being rejected. Fears come in so many different forms, and I'm a really firm believer that there's two energies in the world, and most of us operate either from love or out of fear. And fear for me is just something that we don't yet know. It's a place that we haven't discovered, that we haven't brought light into it, because the minute that you bring light into a room that's dark, the darkness disappears. There can't be darkness in a room that's light. So which is why going into those fears and stepping into the unknown and becoming comfortable with your uncomfortableness is something that I learned early on and has been huge for me, and it's a huge tool that I still use in my life and in my own personal growth. Is if I'm uncomfortable at something, to me what that's letting me know within my own internal guidance system is letting me know that there's growth there for me that's waiting. That's telling me if I go there, I'm going to get deeper and get into another level within myself, because that's a part of myself that I haven't brought light to. So it's almost like making the unknown your friend. And I know that for some of us that can be fearful, because we're sometimes can become creatures of habits, and we're stuck into a routine, and just the thought of it, and our mind can get the best of us sometimes when we think about something that we're fearful. And usually, I will tell you, I promise you, that most of the things that we fear, it's always worse in our mind than it is when you actually do it. Things are never as bad as they are in our minds, because our minds can conjure up so much false delusion to keep us trapped. But when we actually step into it, you're like, wow, like that wasn't that bad, and it's just little things. And you can start with something small and start making then bigger steps. You don't have to jump in and make change right away or step into a huge unknown or fear, but every day you can do something to eliminate your fears. And I promise you that when you start doing things in your life that you fear, you will start uncovering parts of yourself that you didn't know existed. And as you uncover those layers within yourself, you're going to fall in love with yourself, because you're going to be like, whoa, I can't believe, like, I'm so much stronger, I'm so much wiser, I'm so much this and that I didn't know I was. But you wouldn't know if you don't go there, and if you don't challenge yourself. You have to challenge yourself. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and you have to push yourself, because that's the only way you're going to grow. And as you grow, you're going to find that excitement and that love within yourself, because you're going to just feel so happy and so accomplished. It just takes you to that next level within yourself. Another quality to self-love that I believe is important for us to touch on is living in the present moment. Too many times we tend to live in the past, or we live in the future, and we're looking back at the past with regrets, and looking at the future with feeling inadequate, not feeling like we're matching up to this vision that we have for ourselves, and feeling like we're not where we're supposed to be. I know I've fallen into that trap before. And so if we're really going to love ourselves, we have to learn how to really live in the present moment, and how to not look back at the past with regret and the things that we could have done better, because it's just a waste of energy that is not going anywhere. It's not helping you. And so again, we have to be mindful of where we use our energy and where we use our focus. So if you're going to look back at the past and use it as a tool to help you, and how you could do that is by remembering the times that you were strong, remembering the positive moments, remembering times where you succeeded, where you accomplished, where you felt good about yourself, and use those visions to empower you. And as well as for the future, when you look at the future, don't look at the future and saying, oh my God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or I feel like I should be here, but I'm not. Instead, look at the future and start envisioning and creating in your mind's eye the next step for where you want to go, and use it as a tool of visualization to empower you to create the vision that you want, and focusing on what it is that you want to create and not what you're lacking. And another thing about living in the present moment is that we need to also understand that we came into this experience to experience the perspective of the I, separate from the whole. We are connected to all that is, but in this experience, we came to experience a unique part of ourselves, which is called the I, and within that we each have our own blueprint. And so everything that we have experienced up to this point, you were meant to experience. I was meant to experience everything I've been through, good or bad. And because without those things, you wouldn't be who you are right now, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because all of those experience is creating, it's molding, it's like a sculpture. It's all these ingredients that is going on into the makeup of who you are. And you wouldn't have the knowledge and the perspectives, and you wouldn't be able to be where you're at without those things. So another thing that's important in living in the present moment is to make sure that we're not invalidating any of our past experiences, because when we invalidate any of our past experiences, we're invalidating ourselves, and subconsciously we're telling ourselves that we don't love ourselves and that we're not enough, because you can't love yourself while invalidating certain experiences and certain things that you've done and certain parts of yourselves, because all those things have contributed to who you are today. And they contribute to your uniqueness and to your purpose. And it's really not about the destination. This experience is about the journey. And everything that we're experiencing, we may not currently understand why it's happening or how this particular experience is going to get us to the next level where we want to be, but that's not our job. Our job is never to understand the how. That is not something of the physical mind. That is something of the higher mind to understand. And our job is to love ourselves, and to love ourselves where we're at right now and who we are at this very moment. And love is the key to everything. If you come from compassion and from love, you can transform everything in your life. So living in the present moment is a big part of loving yourself and of learning to be okay with who you are right now. And the other stuff is letting go of the peanut gallery and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Letting go of the peanut gallery is just really being able to learn how to detach yourself from people's opinions and what people say or don't say. Because the more that you look inwards for the answers of the outside world, and the more you turn to yourself, to what is right and what is wrong, quote unquote, what is cool, what is not, then you become this power within yourself. And when we are too caught up in the peanut gallery, which is what I like to say, it's very detrimental to self-love, because you're basing your esteem and the way you view yourself and who you are based on what everybody else around you is telling you, what your society is telling you, what your parents are telling you, what religion is telling you. And so the more that you have the courage to start disengaging from other people's opinions, doesn't mean you don't need to listen to other people, because listening to other people is a great gift. You learn so much from other people. However, it's not allowing their opinions to affect you, and it's almost like living in your own world and being so in touch with yourself and so in touch with who you are and your vision and your beliefs, that you operate from that. And even when somebody else is coming in and telling you, no, this is how this should be done, but in your heart that for you, yes, for them maybe this works, but for you, you know that route won't work. And so it's having enough courage to listen to them and say okay, but not conforming to everybody else and not allowing other people's opinions to affect how you view yourself, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to figure it out, and not one person or another knows more than anybody else, because we are all our own gurus and our own teachers within ourselves. We have all the answers, all the resources, all the creativity, all the imagination, all the wealth, and all the love we can ever want is within us, because we are the creators of this reality, this universe, this experience is us. We are all connected to all that is. And yet each of us have a unique blueprint within us. And it is your job and my job to discover that within ourselves. And the only way you're going to discover what your blueprint is and what your gift and what you came here to create is by following your own voice and by drowning out the outside world. It's the only way. So that's why I say letting go of the peanut gallery is so important, because everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to figure it out, but most people are trying to figure it out by mirroring other people and by living up to society's standards and by following the crowd. But reality is you got to pave your own way, and you have to really have the courage to stand out from the rest and really say, you know what, I'm going to look inwards and I'm going to follow my voice. And even though it may sound crazy to y'all that I'm going this way, and logically it seems like this would be the right route, but there's something in me telling me to go this way, well then you have to have the courage to follow that, because your blueprint, your voice, that compass inside of you is uniquely designed for you. And the only one that knows the code and how to crack that and how to read that map is you. So nobody else matters. And the more that you are able to be yourself, then the more that you're going to be able to hold light within yourself. And then things will be more attracted to you, because in essence, what we're all trying to do is really be ourselves and be accepted and not judged. And it's so hard when we live in a experience that has so much contrast and so much resistance, and where so much of our society is always trying to force us to fit into this box. It's really hard. And so that's the task at hand, is to be able to stand outside that box. And then when you do, you will inspire others to do the same within themselves. And that's the only way that we can transform this world. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable is just that. It's being able to put your guard down and to be able to just open your heart and to share yourself with others and to put yourself out there, because most of us have all the same insecurities and fears, and we're struggling with one form of an issue or another that we can all relate on one level. Like at the core of it, we're all the same. And when we're so busy playing up these facades and these images and portraying these images for other people, what we're doing, we're holding ourselves back from really being happy, because happiness comes from really being able to strip yourself and to really be vulnerable and to say to the world, here I am, flaws and all. I know I'm not perfect, but this is my stuff. And it's okay. And the more that you're able to be vulnerable and the less you are afraid of of getting hurt and putting yourself out there, the stronger you'll get. Because sometimes we think that by closing ourselves up to the world, that is strength, but reality, that is not strength, that's weakness. The real strength and the real courage comes from allowing yourself to be vulnerable and by putting yourself out there, despite the fact that you know that you're going to get hurt, because it's part of the human experience, it's contrast. But you also know that as you continue to grow within yourself and you continue to evolve, you know that those hurts you will not experience them the same way, because you will have a different perspective about them. The more that you are vulnerable and the more that you find that happiness and that self-love within yourself, then you're going to be able to bounce back from adversity a lot faster and with new perspectives. So, and it allows you to connect with other people, and it allows you to really step out of your ego and to really just melt in your humanness, which is what we're here to do. Not really to play up to an image and to pretend that there was something that we're not. Because the only way to discover who we really are is by allowing ourselves to be exactly who we are. And allowing others to be who they are. Because here's something that I've learned. Everything that you give to other people, you give to yourself. And if you want to learn to love yourself, a great step is learn to love other people. Learn to see past their flaws. The more that you allow other people to be themselves, the more you give yourself permission to be yourself. And the more that you start softening your rules of how people should be, then in turn it allows you to soften up your rules. And so throughout my journey, I learned that the more that I made room and allowed people to be who they are and to make mistakes and to be who they are without judgment and not judging them for it, you know, it creates a safe space for them, and it creates a safe space for me, because in turn, by allowing them to be who they are, to share with me their hopes, their fears, their dreams, all the crazy stuff that they've done, well, then it allows me to do the same thing, and it creates a beautiful energy exchange. So anything that you give to another, you give to yourself. So by allowing others to be themselves, you're allowing yourself to be yourself. By accepting others, you're accepting yourself. By forgiving others for the things that they've done to you, you're able to start forgiving yourself for the things you've done. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you found some sort of connectiveness with anything that I've said, and that it helps you on your journey to self-love. We'll talk soon, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Bye.